Dragon folk, welcome on in to the finals of the first season of the Clash Bash for the Heavy Hitters season. If you have not gotten caught up to all of this here, I have several videos here on my channel, but we do also have another channel called the FaB Clash Hub that is run by our other Clash Committee member, Nathan, and he has a whole bunch of the other games that are not including myself. So I do suggest going to check that out. I will leave a link to that in the description down below. Now let's go ahead and check out our final match. It is myself going into our other finalist, Row 2. Row has kind of pummeled his way through the entirety of the format with two very powerful heroes. I'm very excited to go against Row and see what he's got and really kind of plow through, see what these final matches are looking like for Flesh and Blood in the Clash format. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started into our first game of the finals for the Heavy Hitters Clash Bash season with myself on Dromai and my opponent on Rhinar. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to head and start our sideboarding into our opponent and Rhinar. Rhinar is probably pretty nasty into myself, I would personally say, just strictly because of the fact that I have to deal with poppers. Now, having to go against a Guardian and a Rhinar earlier in the top 8, it was quite, I would say, quite interesting, but I believe that I still have enough to kind of power through. The only thing I have to worry about is making sure that I'm not getting caught with a bunch of 2-blocks in my hand, so I'm able to block efficiently. So I want to make sure I have enough D-reacts. I want to make sure I'm playing those sigils, and I'm really trying to remove a whole ton of this, phantasm as much as I possibly can here, just strictly because I don't believe I'm going to be able to outmaneuver them. They do have a lot of poppers in the deck, but luckily I don't have to deal with the KO side of things, where the blues are also 5s, but they luckily don't pop. So Rhinar is going to be having significantly less resources in the deck, but that doesn't mean that they aren't going to be able to come in with a bunch of damage. So right now we are just going to go ahead and wait on making sure that our wonderful friend over at the Clash Bash Hub, Nathan, is going to be able to record our match here. But we're looking at our stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just start off at going first. I'm going to pitch 3 to Glory Seeker, be able to go ahead and start it off by playing a Yenderai, and then I get to go ahead and make sure that I have 3 Ash and a Yenderai starting turn 0, and that is a great setup. Our opponent is then going to go ahead and pitch or discard that Agile Windup, and we're going to get to go ahead and essentially do nothing. We don't want to go into it and have them recycle a pop or anything like that, so we're just going to go ahead and hold it through. We have this Pack Hunt coming in at myself. Pack Hunt is going to have go again because of the agility token. And now my whole plan again is to make sure that it's really trying to avoid taking a ton of damage if need be. So that actually went into the Yenderai, being able to kill it because it was at 6. And now I have to go ahead and swing in with a Agile Windup, or they're swinging in with an Agile Windup. I'm going to go ahead and just block out as much as I can. I'm just going to use this Dust Up, see if they block it out. They do have a Clash card. Clash is going to work out very well in their favor because I'm not running a whole bunch of stuff in here outside of some cards that are 6s. But I get to go ahead and arsenal that Sigil of Solace, and we get to keep on doing our stuff with defending. Now, Smash Instinct, you can see this is a very big Intimidate build from Row. Rhinar really does benefit by having a lot of these Intimidate triggers, especially into heroes that don't have a very good armor suite. There's not too much I can do when I'm trying to defend because I just don't have the ability to block as efficiently as possible here. Luckily, I do have my Sigil of Solace, so I'm trying to go ahead and still gain a whole bunch of life back. This Romping Club then is going to come in for 4, strictly because they did not end up discarding a 6, so no additional power to that. And then we're going to go ahead and just keep making dragons. Luckily, this turn we get to go pretty crazy with them. I I get to make a Dromai and then an Azvali. I have the Ash for it, so why not? I get to come in at Dromai for 3. It's probably going to get popped. That's perfect. Luckily, Clash of Agility does not allow us to clash, so I don't have to worry too much about it. But I'm just going to end my turn with a Passing Mirage because I want to make sure that I can get that going for the next turn. Now, in this situation, I feel like I probably should have strictly attacked with Azvali first. I do want to rip as many cards as possible from a Brute's hand. That way they don't have access to a bunch of things. But here, they're going to go ahead and discard that Agile Windup. And they're going to intimidate me by discarding it. And then they're going to attack. It's going to be just another, making sure that I can make dragons here. I don't have a ton. I didn't draw any kind of blues or anything in this hand, so I got to kind of make it work. I'm going to go ahead and keep this Fate Foreseen in hand in case I need to use it for anything dire. But luckily, a Billowing Mirage allows us to still come in with damage. We then get to make a Dromai. We get to do Dromai into Azvali things. And that's going to allow us to just keep on pushing more and more damage. So that's the whole idea. Get enough dragons on board to where it's pretty hard for them to do anything with it. And we can move forward from there. Azvali, I'm looking to try and possibly come in with Azvali. I do end up coming in with Azvali. There's not really, getting an arcane damage is good, but if it gets popped, not the end of the world. With only 2 cards in hand, the most you can do is Romping Club here. And at this point, I just get to go, okay, cool. I'm just going to go ahead and Romping Club. I'll just take some damage here. Won't be the end of the world. And I get to just go ahead and continue on with my turn. So we get to make more dragons this time around or make more Ash. Trying to figure out what the good plan is here is kind of important. What I end up doing is actually pitching this Sink Below to come in with a Sweeping Blow for 3 to make more Ash. This is going to be able to be blocked by the Agile or the Clash of Agility, which then allows them to possibly get it. They do not end up getting anything because he does not win the Clash, unfortunately. But I end up coming in with just more damage and trying to come in with more dragons. This was probably where my downfall was, because now they have a 3-card hand, and I am not going to see much of anything these days. The Savage Feast comes in, they're going to get to draw a card, and they get another action point on top of it. So coming in for 6, they have another action point, and I just have to determine how much damage do I really want to take from this situation, because they only have enough for a Romping Club or another, maybe like a Wild Ride or something. So I just decide, I'll take a little bit here, not the end of the world. But they end up Heart and Cross-strapping, Goliath Gauntlet, Barraging Beatdown, and use the last 2 to come in with a Show No Mercy for 14 damage. Now, I don't have anything left in my hand because of the Intimidate triggers, and I lose. And that is how quickly a game can turn around from being a 1v1 small little slugfest, take some damage here, take some damage here, to eventually getting completely blown out of the water with some wonderful Intimidate nonsense coming in from Rhinar. I do believe that I was very, very aggressive with my plays in regards to not keeping D-Reacts in Arsenal, but at the end of the day, there's really not much you can do. I ran into my D-Reacts very, very early, which was great, but all I needed was the perfect setup, that Heart and Cross strap into the Goliath Gauntlet, in with the 2 floating, being able to get the additional action point. I still had to block that 6 power attack, and they came in with a whole bunch of nonsense. If I just blocked with the D-React from hand, it would have probably felt a lot better. But instead, I ended up blocking with the D-React from Arsenal, expecting me to be able to Arsenal that Sink Below in my hand for the next turn. Little did I know, though, that they had kill in that very moment, threatening 20 damage in the matter of 1 turn, using all of their equipment in the matter of 1 fell swoop. And that is really all you need to change the game around. Show No Mercy being a fantastic Rhinar specialization that is available in the game now, since heavy hitters. It really does provide a lot of damage to Rhinar, and what else do you expect, right? You do everything you can to be as defensive as possible, but Intimidate is just Intimidate. When you're able to rip a whole bunch of cards out of your opponent's hand, it is very, very difficult for them to block, and that's entirely Rhinar's power. So that's the end of game 1. We are going to go ahead and move on to game 2, where now our opponent, row 2, has to change their hero. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well if you enjoy more of this content, you want to see more of it. Subscribing to the channel helps us a lot. You can also become a channel member here if you wanted to support the channel in a more monetary way. Definitely helps keep the lights on, and I get to go ahead and give you guys some awesome member-only videos. And on top of it, you get some loyalty badges and some emotes to show off when I am live. So that is always a fantastic thing. If you want to support the community, it certainly helps out a lot, but it is not necessary. Like I said, that subscription does mean everything. So thank you so much. I appreciate you like no other. And I hope you continue having fun in the flesh and blood. And I'll see you all very soon for game 2 against row 2 in the finals of the Heavy Hitters Clash Bash season. Nerd out.